Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel, and in today's episode it will be our concluding episode for this particular brochure. 1980 full Vauxhall range. We're now up to the Royale Coupe. Hello and welcome back. Now if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s and sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in cars, car brochures, looking back at cars gone by, really the channel is all about those memories and these cars that bring back the memories, then please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free. Now, today's episode, we've been looking through, and it's been a bit of a journey actually, looking through this 1980s Vauxhall all model range, a time when Opel was also selling their equivalent cars. Now we're actually up to the last episode, so if you missed any of those episodes, I'll do a link at the end for all the episodes for this brochure that we've done so far. It really doesn't matter which order you watch it in, but that will be there at the end. So yes, 1980s, the Vauxhall range, we're up to the Royale Coupe. So let's throw that on the board now. Okay, so here is today's episode 7, even though there's only 6 cars on the front cover, but I'll explain that in a moment. We're up to here, the Royale. Came in both saloon and coupe form. It's just showing the saloon here. Now we split this one up really because we've been comparing it to the Opels at the time. The Royale Coupe was the Opel Monza, so we'll compare that today. So let's turn to the page. So here it is, all on one page under the title Royale. I think the Opel was a bit cleverer really, splitting these two models up actually. Here we just get a very small image. We did have a look at the saloon last week, but just to remind you, we'll just read this little very short paragraph to start. Royale. Very, very occasionally a car establishes a great reputation for all-round excellence. The Royale is such a car, distinctively styled, with a strong image of craftsmanship. Every detail of both saloon and coupe expresses refinement. And here is our very small image of the Royale Coupe. I always loved this design actually, although I must confess I preferred the overall vibe of the Opel models for this particular model. So I did prefer the Monza between the two, but still, it's a lovely shape, isn't it? I do like these Opel alloy wheels on there as well. Very limited images for the Royale, very strange overall. These seem to be the saloon pictures. Interiors similar though, with these very vibrant coloured seats. We didn't get a chance to read this last time when we looked at the saloon, so let's have a read over here. Then we'll move on to some better brochures to see the coupe a little bit better. So Royale, 4-door luxury saloon and 3-door luxury coupe, which we're looking at today. There is nothing ordinary about the Royale. It has a specification so comprehensive that only one optional extra is available: air conditioning. Automatic transmission is standard, so too are power steering and power operated windows, so essentially just one model. There is tinted glass all round and a sunshine roof. The Royale driver can adjust his seat for height as well as reach and rake. Of course, it's really telling us only a man can have this car, which is, I guess, a sign of the times. Moving down, and then it goes on to say, then adjust the tiltable steering wheel to ensure his total comfort. Throughout, both the saloon and coupe show evidence of a thoughtful approach. The Royale's powerful performance from a highly refined 6-cylinder 2800 power unit is fully complemented by independent suspension all round, engineered to give a standard of road holding and handling rarely achieved on cars of this size. And the Royale is exceptionally quiet on the road. The application of aerodynamics and extensive wind tunnel testing to the styling, plus liberal use of sound-deadening materials, all combined to ensure whisper-quiet, high-speed travel. Brilliant design, innovative engineering, expertly applied and unstinting quality give the Royale a unique flavour among Europe's prestige cars. So they're really going for that sort of luxury prestige image. It goes on to tell us there's another brochure, make a deal that, you know, there's a lavishly illustrated brochure because this is so poor, but really all these models had a separate brochure anyway, so a little bit unusual that they spent so little time on what is kind of their flagship models. So this actually is the brochure they're talking about, and I don't think it's the best quality brochure, although there is some nice images which we'll have a look at. Again, using that same sort of heading very, very occasionally. So an unusual phrase that they used for the Royale at the time. Let's just have a look at a few images for the Royale Coupe, and then we'll look at the equivalent Opel. So here it is, a little bit of a better angle, a little bit of a bigger picture that we can zoom in on. I did like how Vauxhall at the time treated that area between the rear lights actually, with the Vauxhall wording in separate letters. I did quite like that. Royale badge, you can just about see, so Royale Coupe it says on there. I don't know if you can make that out. If we look at the rear though, we can see no rear wash wipe on this model. And a little bit of a zoom in of how that hatch works. Very high sort of lip to carry those bags into, so possibly not most practical, but it does rather nicely show how Vauxhall did that Vauxhall between the two lights, and we can also see these sort of overriders on the bumpers. And again, a little bit of a better look at that, so an unusual little shape to put things in. You can see it's actually the glass that's actually lifting up. A look on the inside also gives you an idea of the colours they actually used for the seats. And if you've got the blue seats, you know, that's a look at that. I don't know how well it's dated overall, but overall it's certainly an interesting car. We also get more images in this particular brochure, and then a look from the front for the Royale Coupe. You can see those headlamp wipers on there. And another image. Overall, this particular brochure looks more at the coupe than the saloon. It's kind of like almost forgotten the saloon in this brochure, strangely. One of those nice sort of X-ray shots as well of the coupe. Interesting to see the layout. Also showing some of the mechanicals, interestingly enough. Rather unusually for this particular brochure. An unusual brochure actually, that one, but we should move over to the Opel. And then that does take us over to the Monza in this 1980s brochure, and this is the time when the Opels were being sold separately from the Vauxhalls, so you could either buy your Vauxhall Royale Coupe in the UK, or you could go to the Opel dealership and get the Opel Monza. Interestingly actually, my favourite Opels, the Opels that I prefer over the Vauxhalls, both the Opel Manta and the Opel Monza, of course became part of the Vauxhall range later on, when they sort of consolidated these models, and I think that's how I would have done it as well, because I certainly think the Manta and the Monza, for me at least, feel, and personally I think even though they're exactly the same car with just some minor changes, I think they do actually look better than the Vauxhall versions. We'll read a bit more about this, and we'll certainly find out this is a 3 litre now. We'll look at these images, and then maybe we'll kind of like discuss what model you would have picked, which model of this Vauxhall range is your favourite. Anyway, let's start up here and do a bit of reading. It starts by telling us the Monza is the sort of car keen drivers dream about. 3 litre fuel injected performance, a choice of automatic or manual transmission, precise predictable handling, elegant coupe styling, and the ability to cover great distances in great style. The Monza has them all. But unlike most dreams, it's a thoroughly practical proposition and a very satisfying car to live with. Potentially a 5-seater, It offers ample room for 4 adults and their luggage, with a big wide opening tailgate and fold down rear seats for added versatility. The sophisticated suspension gives outstanding ride comfort, complemented by such luxury touches as a radio stereo cassette player, central locking, electric windows and a steel sunroof, plus upholstery and interior trim of the highest quality. And like every Opel, the Monza receives extensive anti-rust treatment during manufacture. The images, this one in the green seats I think is possibly my favourite. Another look how the Monza is with the hatch and that glass section, exactly the same sort of thing. A look at the Opel interior. Not the best as it's so small, but it's there, a little bit of a rear shot of the Monza and a reminder that I would have gone for the Monza just to get those smart lights at the time. Very early on they did that. And then this example in gold. I think I would have preferred the green one, but very nice in gold as well. This has got the less exciting interior though. So the gold one got this more of a beige seats. Like I said, I like them green seats, so I'll be tempted by that. I think Vauxhall just went for blue, red and beige, so green was certainly an option for your Opel. And we'll look more at that in a moment. But overall, attractive looking car no matter what colour you got it in. I do have another brochure actually for the Monza. So this little pull up here, this is actually from 78, but you know, the same sort of thing for sure. At the top it says, if you've got the get up, Monza has the go. But if we open it up, it has this huge image to start off in. I think my favourite colour, this green. And then if we turn the page over, we get a lovely look at that metallic green colour. I think it just really suits it. But like I say, best of all, you get this really rather lovely green interior. I think that is the model I would have gone for sure. And then the rear showing those nice smoked lights. How it's badged, Monza. This is the 3 litre E engine. That basically means a 6-cylinder 3 litre engine with Jetronic fuel injection. It looks like we've got a top speed of 133, 0 to 60 in 8.5 seconds. For the manual, and then you can have an auto option as well, so top speed 130, 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. But for a big car, particularly that manual 0 to 60 in 8.5 seconds, and this is 1978, that's a pretty big, pretty fast big car, isn't it? And then back to our 1980s Vauxhall range brochure. Now we've looked at all the models. Which one are we going to choose? Like I said, most of these models I preferred the Vauxhall, apart from the Sport Hatch, which I preferred the Manta, and apart from both actually Royals, I preferred the Senator and I preferred the Monza of those. The rest I kind of like preferred their droop snoot idea, of course. Astra, you probably would have gone to the Kadette as well, just because it had more of a range at this time, but certainly an interesting range for Vauxhall. And certainly we'll have to in a few weeks I think look at a bit of a later brochure actually showing when Vauxhall and Opel got together a little bit better, got their game together, and then the range was a mixture of the Vauxhall badged and the Opel badged. Made more sense, I think, overall. But like I say, which model would have you had chosen if you had to have gone in the Vauxhall dealership? What is the model you like the best? Please do jot that in the comments. I was always had a little bit of a soft spot for the Chevette, and of course it's a pretty cheap car overall, but certainly the Mark 1 Cavaliers I do like a lot as well. Overall, I think my favourite is actually the Opel Monza of all the models, but certainly, like I say, jot that in the comments which you prefer. Now, talking about the brochure itself, does show out how this brochure ends. So here's the Royal. Like I say, very poorly done actually, I think, the Royal section. Talks about DTV success, and of course that Chevette 2300 HS, an interesting one for sure. And we've got a very wordy section talking about Euro service, master hire, optional GM auto transmissions and towing limits, as well as save on insurance with a VP, talking about insurance. And then when we flip to the back page, we're greeted with this new model, of course, the new Vauxhall Astra, bringing that new world for Vauxhall and the end of that sort of droop snoot idea. Moving into the dealer stamp, this particular brochure was picked up at your local Vauxhall dealer, which was Park Road Garage, Kempston Limited. I wonder what's there now. The publication, April 1980. So there we go, that does take us to the end of this series, and like I say, just in the notes, which of these 1980 Vauxhall models you would have chosen when you went into your Vauxhall dealership. Are we going in there with not a lot of money, or maybe money no object? Let me know what you said. I'm always interested to hear your comments, and certainly if you owned any of these cars, please do put that in the notes there. Always enjoy reading that as well, because that sort of long-term ownership is always kind of like hidden, particularly when you're looking at a new car, but also hidden when you look at car reviews back then, because they only used a new car, drove it around for a few hours and told you their view. They never owned it for 10 years and said, well, actually it rusted and fell apart after 2. So certainly jot that in the notes. I'd love to hear it. I think the main problem with the Royals was fuel economy. I think you're okay as a new owner because you paid all that money, you probably had the money to spend, but when it got to second, third, fourth, fifth ownership, an expensive car to drive around. But like I said, thank you for watching today. We'll end by saying, as we always do, please do consider subscribing if you've not done already. It is all completely free. We also have the opportunity to become a member as well for a very low fee. We'll note though that we're not giving a lot to membership at the moment, but when we get more members we'll probably start doing little extra videos. But just know, if you do become a member, there isn't much on offer, although I'll certainly comment to every single one of your comments. But thank you so much for watching today. Please do take care. I've had a couple of boxes there, one now for the complete series for this Vauxhall all-model catalogue, summer 1980. If you've missed a few of those episodes, I'll put that on there. Probably a random video will come up there as well. But thank you so much for watching. Please do take care. We'll see you very soon. And goodbye.